Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Heal the Shadow in Your Relationships too. And today I'm very pleased to have with me David Wygant. Hi, David.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. Very, very thrilled to have you here. David is an internationally acclaimed dating and relationship coach, author, speaker, and he's known for his no nonsense attitude and shoot from the hip delivery. And he has transformed the lives and relationships of hundreds of thousands of men and women from every corner of the globe. Over the 15 years he's been in the industry, he's become the most frequently quoted dating expert in the media. And he's a major contributor to Huffington Post, and he crops up in television segments, newspapers, magazines, including Millionaire Matchmaker with Patty Stanker, MTV, the New York Times, MSNBC, Fox News, Cosmopolitan, Men's Health, E! Entertainment Television, the list goes on and on. And he's also featured on over 2,000 radio shows. So I'm truly honored and privileged to have you here with us, David. Thanks again for your time.
Well, my pleasure. And even though we're close by, we're still doing this via Skype because that's what Los Angeles is all about.
Oh, my
Nothing is
goodness.
close, everything is aggravating.
So much more convenient to just switch on your computer.
I know. Then drive with these people who drive here. What is it about Los Angeles? Are you from Los Angeles originally or no?
I've been here for over 30 years.
Okay, is directional blinkers, I presume they're an optional equipment on all cars in Los Angeles. I think people save $1,000 because nobody signals like ever here.
I think everyone's
Amazing.
saving electricity. They're so eco-conscious.
Oh, please. I'm telling you, I was out in Woodland Hills. I told a friend of mine, I said, I wouldn't buy a property here. I mean, I've got properties in other places. I said, I wouldn't buy one here. I said, there's a water shortage coming. Oh, that's if you buy into that. I'm thinking, like, really? LA Times, CNN? I think I would buy into that because usually CNN and LA Times play it pretty safe by the news, but it's a funny place, Los Angeles. It really is.
It really is, but it's a great place for us to talk about relationships because there's so many people here that are rubbing up against each other, and you get every walk of life represented. So,
I think people aren't rubbing up against each other. I think that's the problem in Los Angeles. I think the reason why people in LA are such a mess and so guarded is because they need to rub up against one another. It actually feels good. LA is the most guarded. I have traveled the world. LA is by far the most friendly, guarded place ever.
that's
So,
an interesting way to describe it. Friendly yet
uh-huh.
guarded.
Friendly and guarded. It's very friendly.
Interesting.
You can walk down Abbot Kinney, or you can walk into,
Yeah,
Calabasas Town Center, where you guys are, and strike up a little, bullshit 3-minute conversation
sure,
about nothing. But
sure.
when it comes down to getting together with somebody in Los Angeles, the minute a phone number is exchanged, all hell breaks loose because everybody's so guarded and so burned. Oh my God, I was burned by a man 10 years ago, and I can't date
Yes.
anymore.
This
Like
is this
really,
is true, but so don't you think that that's kind of the state of singles everywhere today? That everybody's been through so many bad experiences. Everybody's super picky. They don't want to get too close too soon. I mean, do you think that's one of the biggest obstacles for singles today?
I wrote something, I called it Fragile Handle with Care, and I truly believe this is what single people are. Single people are the most pathetically fragile people out there. It's ridiculous. It's like you're an adult. It's time to embrace how beautiful it is to have money, be alive, be able to make decisions, not have to answer to anybody. You can create an amazing life, but yet people choose the opposite. They choose to be fragile. And I talked about it. It's like literally everybody, everyone, especially women. I mean, men have their own issues, but women are like, they've lost their cool factor over the age of 35 if they have not had what they wanted out of a relationship or they've been burned. And I literally wrote about this today. I think every woman should have a sticker on the side of her head that says fragile, handle with care. They are so afraid
Aw,
of making a mistake again that they don't do anything about it. So they're so cautious. They're so cautious in who they sleep with. They're so cautious in in how they return texts. They're so cautious in letting go. They're so cautious. And I find that women hold on to the past way too much. We've all been burned. We're adults. That's what adulthood is. We get burned. That's the beauty of being an adult. It means that we've been hurt and burned, and we actually get a chance to grow from it. I mean, in order to be hurt, it means you've lived. And we have so many people living as pastors. They're just pastors in their past lives, so afraid. And what happens is if a good guy comes their direction, I have found women blow it most of the time because they're so afraid that this guy's going to do what the last guy did. So they play it cautious and they want this alpha guy. But an alpha guy has options. We're not going to sit back and wait and placate you and hold your hand, over every little thing. I mean, it's just, let's heal, folks. This is, we're just getting old.
Do
So, I
you
mean,
do
time
you
to heal.
have any advice on how to help them heal? And we're going to talk about the shadow in a little bit too. So I'd like to hear you talk about that.
Self-love. It's like you don't need another person. So start enjoying your life. Your life is a gift. It's a beautiful thing. Go and do the things that you love. Be the single mom or the single dad that you're great at. Enjoy the work that you're doing. Enjoy time with your friends. Enjoy time with yourself. Meet people and realize that your life is great already. And also write a letter, to every single person that's ever burned you and thank them for the great lesson because they didn't burn you. It's a choice you made. If you were cheated on, it's a choice you made to be with that person. If you were a typical woman chasing the wrong guy for 9, 10, 11 months, if you listened to your gut instinct, you would have bailed after a month. It's like, think about all the lessons that you could have done. Choose love over fear. And that's what I think a lot of them are not doing, is they're choosing fear over love. And fear will never get you anywhere. Fear will never get you the man or the woman that you desire. It just doesn't happen that way.
Well, I definitely agree with that. Self love is always the answer. Choosing love over fear is always the answer. Now, let me hear, David, your definition of what is the shadow in our relationships.
The shadow is all the past stuff that you've never taken care of. It is. It's all the things that you refuse to do. It's the therapy that you refuse to go to. It's the lessons you refuse to embrace. It's the childhood issues that you've not stared directly in the eyes. It's your subconscious loop that's playing consistently throughout your brain. And what we're afraid to do mostly is to look back. The past literally has all the answers to unlocking the beautiful future. So I call the past your shadow. The past is always following you around if you haven't figured out why you do certain things. A lot of the stuff that we do has to do with what our parents taught us. Dear old mom and dad, no matter how good they appeared or wanted to be, they were flawed human beings just like you and I are.
Yeah.
And there's no and that's what they brought. They brought their flawed human skills and they passed it along, the DNA, to us beautiful flawed individuals. Then we went out into the world with a subconscious loop playing that we didn't even realize what was playing in the first place. We had no idea what was playing. So we played out our first few relationships based on the pain of our mom and our dads, the pain of what we saw in our relationships. We treated people as we were treated as kids. So once we understand that and we embrace it, we don't use it as an excuse and actually do some deeper therapy, then we can start to look at our actions and our decisions, which means that every relationship you or I have ever been in, everyone, we've chosen.
Yeah.
We've chosen that person. We chose to stay in that relationship for 3 years. We chose to stay in that abusive, mentally, physical relationship. We chose to have children with that person. We chose everything. So you need to thank all the people that you've ever been with and literally tell them, hey, I want to thank you for teaching me the lessons. Because you're never going to move forward until you understand your mistakes from the past.
Right. So if somebody doesn't know what's operating them, doesn't know what's in their shadow, doesn't even know they have a shadow, how would you help them to see it? How do you help people to know what's back there running their relationship life?
Oh God, it's a lot of self-discovery. I mean, it comes down to understanding, going back to the way you were treated. How were you treated when you were a little kid? Did you get enough love that you deserved? What type of relationship did you have with your mother, with your father? Was it healthy? Was it not healthy? I mean, it's really easy to peg a lot of behaviors. You see a lot of guys that will go for ball busting women because their mother was a ball buster, right? You'll see a lot of women that will date father figures because they didn't have a father figure. Or, or their mother was a single mother and the father was wealthy and she always complained about how dad has money but she doesn't. So what, and money is evil. So you have women that have bad relationships with money that only date struggling artists that never ever have a. I mean, it's just it all goes back to your wonderful upbringing.
It does. And it's interesting how, people like you or me, we can be talking to a client and 10, 15 minutes, we know exactly where that pattern has come from. But of course, they don't see it within themselves. So, I come across a lot of women that say, oh gosh, the men don't commit. They're not available. They just don't want to get involved. Now, what would you say to a woman like that?
That's because you don't give them a good enough blowjob. No. I mean, men commit to the woman that's super cool. They don't commit to neuroses. They don't commit to a woman that's living in the past. They don't commit to a woman that's guarded. They don't commit, they commit. And women need to realize this. When you're in your 20s and you were bouncing around and you got drunk in a bar and you hooked up with this guy, and the next thing you know, 6 weeks later, you're in bed with him. You say, oh my God, we spent every night together the last 6 weeks. We're boyfriend and girlfriend now. You don't even have the conversation. Women, as they get older, they lose all their cool factor. They really do. We're not sleeping together until we're 6 months in. I need a full commitment from you. We need to have the talk. I mean, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're just looking to find the coolest girl we've ever found. What does that mean? Understanding a man's love language, knowing how to be sexy, treating him like a king, giving him the respect that he needs, wants. It's like we're just looking for the feminine being that a lot of women don't do because they've overanalyzed so much in their lives.
So let me get this straight. Are you telling women, go ahead and sleep with him on the first day? Go ahead and go to bed with him right away. What are you saying here?
Telling women to just be fun again. Sleep with them when you feel like sleeping with them instead of you got to judge the character that you have. If you're attracting a successful, confident alpha guy that has no trouble meeting women, guess what? He's not going to commit to you if you're miscautious all the time because he has a choice. He's not a loser. He's not a social reject, He's not going to put up with your fear. He really isn't. If he's successful and he's worked on himself, he's not going to put up with it and handhold you the whole time. Either you're along for the ride or you're not. There's no guarantee, so stop looking for the guarantee. If you're with a guy that's, kind of shy and kind of nervous, and you're kind of shy and kind of nervous, of course neither of you are going to commit. It's a mirror. So I tell women all the time, sleep with a guy when you're ready, whether it's the first date, second date, 10th date. Nobody should tell you when to sleep with somebody, ever. Nobody. There's no rule out there that says 50% of the relationships that people slept with each other on the first date didn't work out. 75% worked out when they slept with them on the third date. It's a bunch of bullshit. We're adults. Have sex. Enjoy it. But also realize, that there's no guarantee. Remain present. Stop worrying about the future. When you're with that guy, have fun. Have a good time. Be light. Keep things light. Don't be so heavy. Don't talk about all your past hurt and how you've been cheated on and all that other stuff, because we just know that you're broken. And if you're broken, then we know you need to be fixed. And we don't want to fix. We want to lead. We want to be the man, but we don't want to fix the mess that you've made your life. You got to fix yourself first.
So if you are, seeing a woman who is broken, your advice to her is just get help. Go get your therapy. Go do your spiritual work. Go work on yourself so that you can uplift yourself, become the spontaneous person that you are meant to be, become free. Don't be living in your head. That's pretty much what you're saying.
Oh my God, they live so much in their heads. It's unbelievable, and it's not even fun. It's like you meet a guy, and he tells you, hey, I got my kids this weekend, and then all of a sudden you're supposed to go out Sunday night, and he texts you and said, listen, I said I should never commit to anything. I want to see you, but I can't see you tonight. I said, my daughter or my son wants to see me longer. I'll see you tomorrow night. Say, great, fine, that's fantastic. Communication is everything. Most men, over the age of 40 that are relationship-minded men are not chasing women all over the place. When they like you, they just need you to be more flexible, and that's what it comes down to. We need to be more flexible because we have lives. You need to be patient when it comes down to it. You need to be more whimsical and free.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about women a lot. Now, how about men? I get a lot of men that are saying that they attract women who are just angry with men. They're just furious with men. They just, and they're not getting the the receptivity. What
That's
do you say to women, to men about this?
that's because they attract. Listen to the way they're saying this. They attract because deep down they haven't worked on their stuff. If you're attracting there's angry women all the time. On every street corner, there's an angry woman. But the fact of the matter is, and I listen to their words, if you say you're attracting only women that are angry, it's because you're not approaching enough women. Basically, you're being lazy and you're just probably online. A lot of the times they're probably just meeting people online. And online is a joke. I mean, give me a break. Come on. Online dating, nobody's the right age. Everybody puts up a picture of themselves that doesn't look like the picture. Everybody's got these, hey, asshole profiles up there. Hey, if you don't do this, women write all the time, I'm not looking for a hookup. I'm not looking for a hookup. Yeah, and it's like, you know what? You don't need to say that on your profile ever, because a regular nice guy that looks at it and goes, oh, God, a bitter woman. It's like with this hookup stuff. So the guys are not going out and meeting enough women, because if you're only meeting angry women, it means you're probably not meeting enough women, because for every angry woman, there's a woman that's really super cool and super evolved.
Now, you don't think that that's something like in his shadow that's making him attract these kind of women? Maybe he's been dating a lot.
Nah, he's a pussy. Most of them are not dating a lot. Most of them, I've been coaching men for so long. 90% of them don't have the balls to go over there and approach a woman. So their issue is always about they're not getting enough volume into their life. They're not working on themselves. So they're accepting what comes in their life. They're lazy. Men are generally lazy. They're generally lazy when it comes down to it. Take a look. Go out. Go to Whole Foods down on Ventura and Woodland Hills and take a look at the men looking at women but not talking to them. Look around. Look around you. Men are afraid to approach because they're so afraid of being rejected. Oh my God, I'm going to be rejected. This total stranger who I don't even know I'm going to give my power of who I am to them. Men are just wimps nowadays. That's their problem.
That's very sad. So we have a whole bunch of like wimpy, lazy men, according to you, and then a whole bunch of neurotic women. How on earth are we going to get these two to find each other? Because it seems like there's enough men, but they're just not being the aggressors these days, huh?
You're not being the aggressor. You got to be the aggressor. For every bad woman, there's a great one. For every asshole guy, there's a great guy. You got to meet people. If you're out there, it's like if people ran their dating life like their business, they would be successful. Most people run their dating life like a business that's going out of business. I mean, you need customers. You have to know your brand. You have to know what you attract. You're a 55-year-old guy and you're out of shape. I'm sorry, but you're not number one on the pecking list for a 25-year-old hot-bodied woman. Sorry, grow up, man. Grow up. You're balding, you're fat. You are who you are. There's so many beautiful women that would honor your Buddha belly, rub it every single night, love who you are, start dating it, grow up, realize where you are in your life, and grow up and have some balls and meet the women you're supposed to meet. And the same thing for women. It's like, stop chasing men that aren't interested in you. And I tell women this all the time. You go to a party, there's 3 alpha guys, there's 17 beta guys. The alpha guy doesn't approach you, stop being obsessed. If an alpha guy wants to approach you, he will. If he doesn't approach you, it doesn't mean you're not pretty and sexy and everything else. Just go to the guys that are looking at you. Women are always being looked at all the time. So smile. Put your stupid iPhones down. It's like, I have a rule with any woman ever. If you're out with an iPhone and you're trying to meet people, if you have an iPhone, put it down. You lived a long time without that iPhone. Before the internet and before online dating, you used to have to flirt. So put the iPhone down when you're out in public. Take a look at the guys that are flirting at you and smile. They're out there every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So whenever I'm talking to people about the shadow, I say that once you can release the stuff that's there in your past, it makes you a more present person. It makes you a more authentic person. And I heard you talk about telling people to be their authentic selves. What can you tell us about that?
I mean, authentic self is what everybody's afraid of. It's like, I'm unfiltered. People are watching this interview, that they like me or they don't. Some people will think I'm an asshole. Some people will like me. I don't care. It's like, I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I stand for. I know what I'm all about. I know what I like in a relationship. I know what I like in a woman. I know what I like in friends. I know the type of day I like to enjoy every day. So I live it. I mean, I also realize that life is a gift, and most people abuse the gift of life. They think life is going to last forever and ever, and it doesn't. So be authentic. When you're out on a date, if something doesn't feel right, ask a question. If you don't like somebody in that type of way, tell them. Say, hey, look, I don't feel this connection. I think you're great. I think you're wonderful, but I don't feel this connection. Be authentic. Speak your mind. Stop living a filtered life and live an unfiltered life. It feels great to be unfiltered.
Yes, you're definitely an excellent role model for somebody who's totally authentic, let me tell you. You don't have any inhibition about your opinions.
None. Why should I? I've learned a long time ago. People are going to like me or not like me. I have no control over it. So why am I going to
Yeah.
give a watered down version of me?
Yeah. Now, but don't you think that some people just need skills? Like you say to them, go and ask them or talk about your feelings as though that's easy for everybody.
They
But
need
it's
skills. That's what courses are all about, and that's what coaching is all about. And that's what everything. Drop the ego and actually invest in self-help programs. Drop the egos. It's like when I have something that I need work through, if I can't work through it on my own, I've learned what's made me successful in life is I've learned the best four-letter word out there. And it's not fuck, because that's what most people say when things don't go their way. They go, fuck, right? Oh shit. And they
right.
freak out. The best four-letter word in the world that every successful entrepreneur and every successful person in any type of endeavor has learned the word called help. Help is a word that the ego really can't stand for people that are all about ego. Help is beautiful. If I need help trying to figure things out, I'm going to go to one of the coaches I work with and go, hey, look, I'm going through something right now. I think there's an old pattern coming out. I'd like you to help me find out what this pattern is because I'd like to not have this come up in my life anymore.
I would love to hear you give us some examples of some common patterns that you have identified with people, with women and with men, and how you helped them to get some skills or to get through that pattern and get through the obstacle so they could become more their authentic self and gain the skills.
I'll just do one that's really simple, the fear of the opposite sex, because it seems like everybody has that. And I like to tell them all the time, there's real fear versus fake fear. Most fear that we have is fake fear. Here's real fear. You're on an airplane, the pilot all of a sudden says, prepare for a crash landing. Now that's real fear. You're in an ocean, it's a beautiful sunny day, 75 degrees, you're in Hawaii, you're floating offshore a little bit. You start to swim in, and in the distance you see a big black fin coming your direction. Basically, you're the only one in the ocean. Your lunch. That's fear, right?
Yeah.
Fake fear is all the excuses you have not to express yourself emotionally, physically, or mentally with the opposite sex. You see a woman you're attracted to, and you immediately say to yourself, oh, she doesn't look like she wants to be bothered. I can't talk to her. She doesn't date guys like me. Fake fear. You're a woman, you see a gorgeous guy that you've always wanted to date, and he's standing there in the line in Whole Foods, and you're behind him thinking to yourself, what do you do? So you bury your head in your cell phone and you don't see anything. Smile. It's bullshit, the fear that we've created.
Yeah, no, it's very true. But like you said before, people are afraid because they've had past experiences that have not been so great. So, I just so appreciate that you've got a couple of free gifts for our viewers. So you want to tell us about what you offer for men and what you offer for women.
Let's go to women first. Women, it's real simple. It's how to speak man. It's an hour-long seminar that I once did to a group of women on how to speak man. Because we speak a whole different language. Our brain works a different way. Our mind works a different way. We're wired a different way. Once you understand that we're not women and you can't rationalize to us like women and you can speak our language, you're going to get along with men so much better. And I break it down real simply, and it's a free gift that people can have. For men, it's all about understanding what seduction is, because I think that's what's lacking in today's society is seduction. Women want to be seduced, and a woman literally will get a feeling for a guy in 7 seconds or less. It's the way he walks over, it's the way he carries himself, it's the way he says hello. It's that Jerry Maguire moment that I think a lot of men don't know how to capture. You had her at a low. You didn't need to think of anything else. So both those are free for men and for women.
Awesome. We love it. And I've got both of the links down here below. And before we wrap it up, I'd love to know if you have any other parting words of wisdom that you could help people looking for relationships in today's crazy environment where everyone's afraid of making the wrong mistake because they're going to end up with a divorce and all of that stuff.
What you think about, you bring about. If you're afraid that you'll end up with a divorce, you'll get a divorce. If you're afraid you're going to be with somebody that cheats on you, you'll get cheated on. If you're afraid that somebody will not love you the way you want to be loved, then you'll be with someone who doesn't love you the way you want to be loved. If you're afraid of being what your mother was in a relationship, you're going to be that. What you think about, you bring about. Fill your life with positive thoughts every single day, because positive thoughts bring love. Love is a gift. Expose yourself. Give love freely to other people, and that way you'll get love back. Maybe not from the people you're exposing yourself to at first, but if you believe in the principles of the law of attraction, if you go out every day in your love, you're going to eventually find love, real love.
Yeah, well, I certainly agree with all of that. It's always all about choose love,
Yeah.
not fear. And I love that you said that. So thanks so much for being with us, David. It's been a real pleasure. And thanks everybody for watching. And we will see you again on the next installment of Heal the Shadow in Your Relationships too.